Chapter 1. Well, the cards appear to be in her favor, rumbled a powerfully deep voice. His large frame eclipsed the door as he emerged from the emergency operating room. Allison had been preparing herself for the worst, and her crystal blue eyes yearned for the life of her only child. So does that mean she's going to make it? By the looks of things, I would say she is going to pull through. At the same time, I'd love to see her in better condition. Dr. Kayatan smiled sympathetically. In addition to fusing the rods to her spine, she has 5 broken ribs, a fractured wrist, ruptured spleen, and a severe concussion. She's going to be out of commission for a long time. Allison shook her head in disbelief. I swear that girl is going to be the death of me. Maybe this will finally knock some sense into her. Seriously, I have no idea what she was thinking. You've certainly got your hands full with this one, don't you? Avery is extremely fortunate, though. Honestly, I've seen much worse from rock climbing accidents. Falling 30 feet typically doesn't end well. But as far as we can predict, it appears she and the baby are going to be just fine. Allison was caught completely off guard and glared blankly at the doctor in disbelief, not certain she understood him. I'm sorry, Dr. Otten said, stroking his graying beard. Is everything okay? Allison stumbled into an adjacent chair. You didn't just say baby, did you? Forgive me, I thought you knew. Inhaling deeply, he rolled his eyes sheepishly and took a seat next to Allison. She's about 12 weeks along, give or take. I beg your pardon, but that's impossible. Certainly there must be some mistake. This is tough news, Dr. Otten continued. I know. My daughter became pregnant at age 17 as well. Let's face it, it's a little younger than any of us would hope for. But people successfully work through these challenges all the time. Things will work out, you'll see. Thank you, Doctor, Allison began to clarify, firmly looking him in the eyes. But it just doesn't make any sense. She took a deep breath, pushing strands of her platinum blonde hair out of her face. Avery hasn't had any ovaries since she was 12 years old. She's a cancer survivor. Really? Dr. Otten mused on the concept for a moment. His thick eyebrows accentuated a forehead wrinkled in contemplation. That's always been the thing about Mother Nature. It seems she always has a few tricks up her sleeve. Trying not to make any noise, Allison stepped into her daughter's hospital room and carefully closed the door behind her. A worn reclining chair was waiting adjacent to the bed where Avery slept, and as welcoming as it had been where she spent the night for the past 3 weeks, and she longed for the comfort of home. Allison ached for things to go back the way they used to be, before Avery's accident, before they found out she was pregnant. Nestling herself into the chair, Allison took the remote off the bedside table and turned off the TV. Hey, I was watching that, Avery grumbled. Good grief, you startled me, Allison piped, pushing the long black hair behind her daughter's ear. Allison kissed Avery's forehead. Why aren't you asleep? Nightmares. Same one? Yes, I just hope it doesn't come true. Well, your track record certainly doesn't help at all. Cancer, the staph infection, and then you go rolling off the edge of a cliff. Dad would have been proud of that one. Maybe, but even he wouldn't have gone rock climbing without any gear. Seriously, that was just asking for trouble. I know. I promise I won't do it again. I know I've heard that before. Avery looked up toward the window at her right and watched the moon with envy. It wasn't fair. The moon always got to stay the same, but not her. Whenever she began to feel like she knew who she was, she was forced to reconsider. Normally it was something being taken away, first her father, then her ovaries. But this was going to be different, so much different. Specialists from all corners of the globe were being brought in to try to figure out just how in the world a girl with no ovaries was able to conceive. It soon became apparent to Avery and her mother, however, that rather than help her, they were all more interested in simply being among the elect who got to see the girl whose body had broken the laws of nature. It seemed there was a new subspecies named Avery, and medical spectators were lining up in droves just to get a peek. "Mom?" Avery's deep brown eyes began to moisten. "Yes?" "I'm scared. I'm not supposed to be pregnant." Tears began rolling down her angelic cheeks. "I don't know what to do. What am I going to say to Taylor? He's going to hate me, isn't he?" "Mom, he's going to hate me. I just know he is." Now, he's not going to hate you. Calm yourself, child." Allison reached for her daughter's quivering hand. "I'm going to help you through this. And you have all your friends, and I didn't do anything wrong, though, Mom. I mean, I never meant for this to happen. I don't see how it could have. Like I told you before, we never let things get out of hand. This wasn't supposed to happen. Avery, look at me. We've already been through all this. Of course things got out of hand. You wouldn't be pregnant unless they had. I don't have any memory of it, though, Mom." Allison sighed in frustration. It had come as no surprise that Avery couldn't remember almost the entire week prior to the accident, so it wasn't altogether unreasonable that other parts of her memory had also been affected. "It's okay for people to make mistakes, Avery. None of us could ever hope to be perfect. It's just not realistic. You've got a lot of hormones running wild at your age, and sometimes people lose control." "I know what I know, Mom," Avery insisted. "Taylor respects me, and I promise you nothing ever happened." "Sweetheart, a woman doesn't just conceive out of thin air. If it wasn't Taylor, then it was somebody else." Allison's stomach churned at the thought. "Avery, I know it's hard, but you've just got to be able to talk openly about these things. If something happened to you, you need to tell me." She paused for a moment, scared to death of asking the question. "Were you raped?" "No." Avery looked away. "I don't think I was." "Avery, please be honest with me. That's the only way we can hope to work through all this. It's toxic to keep it bottled up inside of you. It will end up driving you insane." "I am being honest with you, Mom. Something's not right here. You don't know what it's like. I felt like enough of a freak as it is, knowing all this time that I could never have kids. Now I'm told I have one growing inside me, and I have no idea where it came from. Why is this happening to me?" Avery was breathing much harder now, and the heart rate monitor began to flash. "Avery, honey." Allison quickly leaned over the bed to embrace and console her terrified daughter. "Honey, please relax. It's okay, love. Just relax for a moment. Things are going to be okay." The smell of her mother's perfume was incredibly pacifying. Inhaling one deep breath after another, Avery surrendered to the pervading essence of her mother's unhindered love. As her tense muscles began to relent, she closed her eyes, concealing the emotional hurricane that raged within.